What it do? Trend Chain, it's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with USA Culture Shocks, moving to the United States as a German. Before we dive into this, smash that subscribe button, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. I got social media and Patreon all up top. You want to subscribe to any of it? Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me, human. I talk back. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What do we got?
I just feel like you don't have as much privacy as you should have. And to be honest, this really freaks me out a little bit. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Veronica. I'm 29 years old and I'm originally from Bavaria in Germany, but I moved to the United States in 2019. In today's video, I want to tell you about a few culture shocks I've experienced when I first came to the United States. As usual, I want to put out a quick disclaimer that this is, like I said, my very personal experience and I haven't been here for that long. So maybe my point of view is going to change here in 5 years about one thing or another. Also, we live in Georgia. That's the only state I can talk about except New Mexico because I've visited New Mexico a few times. But other than that,
My girlfriend lives in Georgia. Lives right on the edge of Georgia and Tennessee, which it's in Georgia.
Except New Mexico because I've visited New Mexico a few times. But other than that, I talk about Georgia and things might be different in other states. All right, let's get started with my first culture shock.
The gap in public bathrooms.
So for anyone who's never been in the United States before, let me explain this one real quick. For some reason, the public bathrooms are designed a certain way where there's a gap between the door and the wall of the stall. And I'm actually curious if there's a legit reason for that. If anyone knows, please let me know. And again, I don't know if that applies to every individual state, but in the states I've been to, including the airports I flew into when I came to the States or when I flew back to Germany, and I bet there's exceptions, but the majority is designed that way. And to be
definitely majority. Everywhere I've been in the U.S. have had the gaps in the bathroom.
Back to Germany, and I bet there's exceptions, but the majority is designed that way. And to be honest, this really freaks me out a little bit. I just feel like you don't have as much privacy as you should have when you go to the bathroom. And I'm actually curious how Americans feel about that. Is that something you've never thought about because it's always been like that? I've experienced that with things in Germany as well, that you never think about it until someone points it out.
Exactly. It's definitely one of those things because I thought the rest of the world had gaps like that until I started watching these YouTube videos on other countries. So it's like, I thought this was just like a normal, regular thing. And so I just figured all bathrooms were like this, or public restrooms at least. So I definitely never thought about it, just because you grew up your whole life like that. So I never thought things could be different.
In Germany as well, that you never think about it until someone points it out.
College tuition. Oof.
So this point might be influenced by the fact that I grew up in a country like Germany where education has always been fairly affordable, or nowadays it's actually almost free to go to college. Up until this point, I'm considering going back to college here in the United States because unfortunately my degree is not worth the same as it is in Germany. Currently, I'm actually waiting on my transcript evaluation, which has to be done by certain agencies, and it's been a little bit delayed because of the current situation. But last year in summer when I first got here, I already looked further into this whole college topic, and I was just shocked about the numbers when it comes to college tuition. Obviously, I'm not an expert in this topic. I have to do a lot more research if I actually want to go back to college, because there's a lot what goes into it, like scholarships and grants, which can help pay for the tuitions. However, I do want to give the Germans an idea about what numbers I'm talking about, so I was looking for statistics and actually found some. Alright, the following numbers are from the National Center for Education Statistics. I'm gonna place the link in the description box below so you can look at it yourself as well. And the question for the statistics was, what are the trends in cost of college education? And the response to that, and I'm just gonna read that off of the website, for the 2016-2017 academic year, annual current dollar prices for undergraduate tuition, fees, room and board were estimated to be $17,237 at public institutions, $44,551 at private non-profit non-profit institutions and 25,431 in private for-profit institutions. So maybe now you understand why I was a little shocked when you compare a country like Germany where college education is pretty much free, and then you read those numbers when you've never looked further into that topic. I was just shocked.
That's facts. That's very shocking. That's one thing. I feel like a lot of students don't go for those scholarships. There's so many scholarship opportunities to go for. When it was my freshman year in college and they were introducing us and they were talking about a couple of these scholarships and they were like, you know how many students apply for this scholarship? 0. So if one student would have just applied for that scholarship, they would have literally had that money. And so I learned after that year, definitely, I mean, there's so many scholarship opportunities based on race, based on gender, based on major, based on if you grew up in a rural area, based on, they literally have so many based on so many different things. So if you're in the U.S. and you're applying for college, just apply for the scholarships. Take the time, take a day, apply for all the scholarships you can apply for. The only time I applied for scholarships, I ended up getting some, and so I'm like, I should have did it more, but I was being lazy and into other things, and I just didn't apply for them. I graduated, but I got debt. You know what I'm saying? But if I would have just been applying for scholarships, I'd have a whole lot less debt. Keep it rolling.
You've never looked further into that topic.
But the tuition price is ridiculous.
Number 3 might be limited to the southern states here in America, but feel free to let me know what it's like in the north. I would assume that the majority of people knows that the United States is a very big country. But to be completely honest, I had a hard time picturing how big it actually is until we took a road trip last year in December to visit family in New Mexico. Instead of hopping on the plane, we took the car and drove through several states. On our trip, it was really not a rarity that we saw a single mailbox in the middle of nowhere on the side of the road with no house even close by. That might be something not every German actually knows. Here in the United States, mailboxes are usually on the side of the road and not attached to the house the way it is in Germany. So I guess there are just a lot of people who prefer to live by themselves with no neighbors around them. And I'm not talking about that it's a weird thing to live like that.
There are many people who live like that. I know exactly what you're talking
about. That it's a weird thing to live like that.
Safety.
This one is actually a little bit personal, and if you've lived in Germany, maybe you understand why I feel that way. And again, I haven't been here for that long, so maybe this feeling is gonna change in the future. In the military community, it's very common to have a local Facebook group for a lot of gossip, but also for some really valuable information, especially when you move to a new place. So when I first got here, I joined the local Facebook group for our duty station, and one of the things I noticed right away was people talking about to avoid certain areas in our town. That's just something I've never had to deal with back in Germany. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely bad parts in Germany as well, especially in bigger cities. And I grew up in a pretty rural area, but here we are pretty rural too, and apparently around military bases there's always this bad area. Like the closer you get to a military base, for some reason the worse it gets. And I didn't know how to deal with the fact that people kept talking about not to go to the closest Walmart just because it's not considered the safest area. So that's something I still have to adapt, and it's getting better. Not that I feel like uncomfortable on a daily basis, but you definitely have to adjust. So those were my personal 4 biggest culture shocks I've experienced when I came to the United States. And as usual, I would be super curious if you've experienced anything like that as well. And you don't have to move to a different country. I think when you go to visit a country for a vacation, you can experience culture shocks as well. So let me know in the comments below what your biggest culture shocks in a foreign country were. Next week, I'm going to be talking about the things I wish that were done the German way. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!
No, I absolutely love that video. We definitely got to check out some more of her videos. But that's all we got for this. So you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon and drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. I got social media and Patreon all up top. You can subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy Neal. Out.